We all have the same 24 hours in the day, but why is it that some are able to crush their goals, stay fit, run a business, and still have time for a social life, while others are feeling stuck in the same cycle every single day? Well, we may have the same 24 hours, but the high performers use it differently. And before any of you get super frustrated, because I know hearing we all have the same 24 hours in a day doesn't make sense when we have kids, you have family, you have spouses or significant others, or maybe you're all alone. Maybe you don't have business, maybe you have a 9-to-5, maybe you can't afford a gym membership. Like, I'm going to meet you where you're at, okay? I've been a single parent for years, 7 years, okay? So I'm going to tell you that this is absolutely possible in using your 24 hours, how to audit where you're missing and losing time, and how we can move forward and be a high performer, because it's absolutely possible. Today, I'm going to break down how I actually use my time to make sure it counts. And spoiler alert, it's not about packing every minute, but how you prioritize and how you manage your energy. So the first concept we're gonna talk about is energy versus time. So have you ever heard of energy blocking? So time blocking is great, and we've talked about that before, but not all hours are created equal. So I know in the morning, I'm focused, I'm high energy, and I'm ready to tackle my bigger tasks. This is when I film, this is when I go to the gym, this is when I edit, this is when I do the most important, demanding parts of my schedule. By mid-afternoon, not as great of a time, not as focused, right? So this is when I'm gonna do my admin tasks. So answer emails, maybe an easier edit, somewhere where I'm sitting and I'm able to just focus on getting, payroll out, or just answering emails. The key here is using your highest energy hours for that deep work, whether that's strategy planning, content creation, or training. And then when I feel that energy take a dip, I'm going to do the repetitive tasks that require less brain power from me. Here's the truth. Most people don't need to do more, they need to do less better. Time management is great, but time management isn't about squeezing more into your minutes and hours. It's all about cutting the stuff out that's draining you. And we're all guilty of this. For me personally, this is like having 47 web browsers open with all these different tasks that I'm working on. So I've actually had to start separating my browsers so that one is, this business, one is the content creation for a client, and the other one are like my admin tasks. So separating those, Google is great for filing and sorting your browsers out. I've been using this so much more often, but also how much time have you spent just watching a TV to, relax and cool down, swiping through your phone, the doom scrolling, and you get caught up into these things and you're not managing your time the best, but also having too much going on at once. Have you ever watched TV, worked, you're also texting at the same time? Again, use the do not disturb on your phone during certain hours of deep work when you know you're the most focused. And then build in those times to take breaks, set timers, set alarms. Again, this is where your time blocking comes into play, because your calendar will alert you at whatever time. Mine's usually 10 minutes before a task that I have to switch or do. It will remind you when to do these. So it's all about organizing your time and not packing more into it, but using it more efficiently. So the moral of this part of the story is eliminate distractions. If it's not in alignment with your goals, it's gotta go. This is where the hell yes or hell no filter comes into play. So where most people get lost when it comes to the hell yes or hell no filter is that they think that there's a gray area, that there's a maybe. There's just absolutely not. It's gotta go. If it does not align with your goals, it is in fact a hell no. If it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no. And some people have gotten upset with me when I said this, because I used to say yes to too many things and then I would burn out, get overwhelmed, or my personal goals would be put on a back burner to work on things for other people. Now, where people get upset when you apply this filter is that they're gonna think you're just self-serving, right? Like, oh, you just care about yourself and this and that. And at the end of the day, you do need to care about yourself, and how serious are you about your goals? Doesn't mean there's no time for friends, family, love, or any of these other things, or helping other people out, but you need to filter out the noise when you're in your growth and grind season of your life. Again, they're just seasons. It's not go, go, go all the time. But to reach your goals at a time, like if you gave yourself 6 months, 12 months, 3 months to do something, you need to make sure that you're setting the standard for yourself to achieve those. And that means some things are going to be a hell no. No offense. So next, we're gonna talk about the power of anchor habits. These are the small routines that keep me in line every single day. Keep me grounded even on the most chaotic days and weeks of my life. So for one, I know when I make my green shake and I have my first cup of coffee that it is time to plan what I do is I list out my top 5 priorities that I need to accomplish for the day to make sure that I am on schedule to complete everything I need to do for the week. For some, this might be an early morning walk to reset, or just a brief planning session to plan what you have to do for the day or the content you're going to build, or whatever it is that you do every single day. These anchor habits are my foundation. They make sure I'm set up for success on days that I feel energized or not so much. So the next topic is going to be auditing your time honestly. And honestly is the key. And there's a simple way to do this, and it's a challenge for you if you feel that your 24 hours is just not long enough. And I know, because I've been there, and I actually did this last year, which is how I'm able to stack on all these other things like energy blocking, time blocking, and all of these different concepts that I constantly talk about. This one task is what led to that, and it is auditing your time. So spend a day or two, especially if your days look a little different. Do it every single day for a week if you need to. The same with meal planning, right? The first time you jump into like wanting to have a new meal plan, you have to audit what you already were doing, right? To assess where are the problems. So the honest part of this is you go from the time you wake up, put down, this is the time I woke up. What's the first thing you do? Is it scrolling through your phone? Is it drinking a glass of water? Do you immediately wash your face and brush your teeth? Literally every single little thing matters. How long did you scroll? Like, just be mindful of it, and don't try to change in those moments. Honestly, audit how you spend your actual days. This is where the honesty part comes in, because this is where you can address the white space or the wasted time. I was able to identify where I was spending my time on tasks that didn't serve my goals, didn't serve me, why I wasn't able to get to the gym or go to the gym long enough to finish a full workout because I packed my schedule in a certain way, or I spent too much time binge watching a show. This is where that honesty comes in. So the best way to figure out where that time is so that you can time block and energy block is to know where your time is already going. Once you know the facts, now you know exactly what can go and what needs more of your focus during the day. Your time audit is your very first step to owning your hours. So next, you're gonna obviously step into building that schedule that actually works for you from day to day. And not every day is going to look the same, but I do know there are non-negotiables. So I drop my son off at a certain time. Right after, I go directly to the gym to get my lift in. When it gets warmer, it's going to be a run, but that is my training period, right? I have a block of about an hour 15 to an hour and a half that I leave open. And then afterwards, it gets into, hygiene, breakfast, all those different things. And then right after I've gotten the training and my brain is awake, I've had my cup of coffee, that is when I do my deep research or my content creation. And again, not every day is the same. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are going to be personal film days. Tuesday, Thursdays are going to be client work heavy during that period of my high focus and high energy hours. And then when it's about mid-afternoon, late afternoon, depending on how energized I feel, because I do feel pretty energized until around like 2 p.m. So, and that's just me, everyone's a little different, and that's why I take these different supplements, so you can watch that video if it's of interest to you, of how I keep my brain optimized to perform better longer. So the mid-afternoon, that's when I'm gonna do my admin tasks, answer the emails, make sure I check off my priority list, or if anything is a really big, heavy task and I need to move it to the next day, I make sure it's on my to-do list for the next day as number 1. So it's all about auditing and building the schedule around the things that you already do and have to do, like dropping your kids off at school. Maybe there's appointments, maybe there is a group that you go to, or church on Sunday. There's different things that are already established in there. And now you see the white space that you can start tackling your other goals while knowing when you are the most high energy. And of course, once we have dinner and the evening comes around, I prioritize family time. I've found myself working throughout the entire day, even the evenings, in seasons of really high pressure. So I make it a goal to organize my time so that my work, the bulk of it and the most important tasks, get done earlier on during my focus hours, so that the evening can be solely for conversation with my family, to just reconnecting and being present. And of course, winding down and reflecting on the day that I had. This specific structure helps me stay consistent, but I do remain flexible, because the majority of my time can look the same day to day, but there's gonna be things thrown at you. Your car needs something done. You end up spending hours at the dealership, right? Or the oil change or whatever it is. Your kid needs something, your kid's home, sick from school, and now you need to stay here. Like, all these things will happen. But for me specifically, I do travel quite a bit for work. So when these things happen, how do I structure my day? It's all about remaining flexible, because flexibility and structure can coexist. You just need to understand, are you being flexible in a dishonest way, right? Like, are you physically leaving, or is your schedule actually changing, or are you making room for an excuse so that you can use the flexibility excuse? You know what I mean? So accountability is huge in this aspect. So even when I travel, I do have a work buddy, shout out Sammy T. We actually will go to healthier eateries for breakfast and not just eat the crazy stuff. Also, we do go to the hotel gyms to work out, or we'll make sure we get a certain amount of steps and just explore the town or city that we're in. It's all about making sure that your non-negotiables are still met while you're there for a specific reason. So a lot of the jobs that I travel to do require my full schedule to change, and that's okay. That's where the flexibility comes in, but there's always room for some of the non-negotiables. So we briefly touched on this, but the next tenet is the power of saying no. You have to know the difference between saying a yes and saying a no. And in some seasons, when you're first starting out with business or influencing, like, you want to say yes to so many things. Like, how I've done so much free content for people because I wanted to get the name out there. I wanted to practice. I wanted to make sure that people knew I was serious about the role that I'm taking, right? Like, I want to be a content creator for other people. So I needed to do a bunch of free things. So I said yes, 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 yes. But there comes a point when, I burnt out from that. You can't say yes to a bunch of things, and now you have all these deliverables that stack, that ends up taking precedence over your own things. And then you're sitting there wondering, is this really moving the needle towards my goals? So understanding that no isn't a bad thing. It's not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. You can say it politely. It's not like you're just like, no, I'm not doing anything with you anymore. But there is power in that. It's called discipline, right? That's what this whole diary series is about. And each week we've talked about a different part of it, because it is so important to own your time and to know if it doesn't help you build momentum towards your personal goals, you have to say no and be comfortable and confident in doing that. So yes, you have the same 24 hours as me and as everyone else in the world. The difference is in how you use them. So my challenge to you this week is, what is one thing that you can eliminate from your day that's not moving the needle towards your dream body, your dream house, your dream anything, right? And not even just a dream, your vision for your life. And maybe it's just starting with that time audit. Where are you losing time? Become aware of that and hold yourself accountable to it. Just know that you are in control of your 24 hours and you are in control of how you prioritize. So make it count. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, drop a comment, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the last 2 weeks of Discipline Diaries. And week 8, I will be announcing something huge, and you might have already seen it if you are subscribed. I'm super stoked about this one, so I'll be talking all about it on week 8. But I appreciate you guys. Know that you are built to perform in all aspects of your life. You're absolutely worth it. You are capable, and you're the only one that's in your way. So get out of your own way. I love you guys.